A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to my channel, The Twin Flame Union. In this channeling session, I would be talking about the Divine Masculine quitting addictions as the union gets closer. In the first part, I spoke about a lot of things related to food and what we consume and what impact does it have. And I want to say this to all of you who are listening, the part 2, that your union has a big connection with the addictions. You may want to underestimate this, how I underestimated it. So I don't want to project the same thing here. But I want to say to you guys here that I think I made a mistake by underestimating it, and I would not want anyone else to do the same mistake. What we eat has a lot of importance. What we drink has a lot of importance. What we eat and drink has a lot of importance because it's all coded with messages. Now, there is a scientific research done by Dr. Masaru Emoto, and it's called his water experiments. You can Google it up. There is a lot of information on that. He took basically water samples and he charged them with positive and negative words. The ones that had positive words, positive connotations, those water droplets had many beautiful crystals, and each beautiful word like thank you or love, I love you, you're amazing, you're wonderful, everything had a different crystal formation in a very beautiful manner. Beautiful crystals were formed in water droplets. And then the water that was charged with negative energy, negative words of humiliation, that particular water did not have any crystals. On the contrary, the images were very dark and very ugly images came out. So this proves a lot that what we eat and what we drink can have a lot of impact on us. That's why in one of my channeling sessions, I told you guys to charge your water. In fact, charging your house with mantras and beautiful vibrational sounds is also a good thing to do. Charging your house with sage and charging your house with incense sticks, bringing in sunlight, bringing in prayers, it all really helps. These things look very simple, they sound very simple, but they are actually very, very effective. When we do healing sessions, when I do therapy sessions, when we do inner work sessions, at that time also I make some prayers and I tell others also to do that. And this is not to sound like, like some sort of woo-woo stuff or some type of a... These ideas are not false beliefs. These are not imaginary things. Rather than that, they are more scientific, and there is a lot of research that has gone into it. What we eat has a lot to do with our addictions, addictive patterns, and how we have been raised and what our mental blocks are. The type of mental blocks you have, the type of negative or positive energy you hold in your mind, in your mental body, those are the things that you attract in your physical body. So if you're mentally very positive, very smart, very strong, very stable, you will attract that type of food. And you can make a change in the food also. It is very automatic also sometimes, so you can keep observing it. When you see a change, a huge change in what you eat and what you drink, and if you're a conscious consumer of things and of whatever you want to know, what am I putting in my body? Because your body is a temple. And the divine feminine, if she's connecting with the source energy, then she would like to and she should bring in only those things that are pure and raw and fresh and good for the body. So a lot of people eat meat. I don't recommend anyone should eat meat because you are killing innocent animals for that. A lot of people wear clothes which have fur in them, which have the bags and the purses. All of these things are so full of negative energy, so much torture and so much trauma goes into it. Now, we have animals at home, for example, the pets. They eat non-vegetarian food. That's because this is how their body is made. The body has been created by nature like that, You can't give a lion grass to eat. You can't always give the dogs, only basic stuff. They fall sick. Their bones become weak. They need this type of food. So to give them food is a different thing, or they arrange their food is a different thing. But as a human being, you are supposed to make sure that what you eat is pure, fresh, healthy, and it's herbal. It's Ayurvedic. So I will talk to you about my experience of reishi mushroom. So the first time I found out about reishi mushroom, I was very impressed by it because I was being told that this is a mushroom of immortality. So I was like, oh wow, mushroom of immortality. That sounds kind of interesting. After doing a lot of research, I decided to get the reishi mushrooms, but it was very difficult to get the actual reishi mushroom or the actual extract because what they were selling on the internet were basically capsules, and it was not the money because I did spend money on it, but after consuming the capsules, I felt that the effect should have been different, but not this. So, my guide told me that, my food guide especially told me that this is not something you should eat. It's better if you get the fresh ones, the ones that are found in the woods. So I was thinking that how am I going to do that? Where will I find it in the woods? Like there are no woods in where I live. So it so happened that during the monsoon season, now the place I live in, the city I live in is otherwise a very populated city and very pollution. There's a lot of pollution also. But luckily, by the grace of God, where I live, the area I live in, it's a very green patch. It's almost like countryside of the same city. So a very green patch, lot of farms, lot of greenery, very too many trees, a lot of parks and gardens. Like every locality is surrounded by 3 to 4 parks. And my own house is surrounded by lot of greenery. So when I go out to meet my street animals, and I thank my street animals for many things. And fitness is one of those. Active lifestyle is one of those, because when you're living with so many animals, they don't let you, get lazy or dull or sad. If you feel that you're getting lazy or sad, something happens to them, and that keeps you in some fear mode that I'm not going to rest for no reason. I'm not going to go dull because I don't want any of my pets to suffer because of that. So the pets and animals, they tend to take the energy, negative energy or the problems of the people who raise them. And this is also proven fact. Now, because the divine feminines that I'm channeling, the collective energy that I'm channeling, even the people I work with, I have noticed, and they have also told me their personal journeys, that few years back they had no idea about food. They used to eat all kind of junk, processed food, all types of, horrible food habits they had. So this channeling came through in a very unique way. What had happened was that I was looking for reishi mushroom. I was not really satisfied with the capsule, especially after doing all this research work. I was like more and more hooked on to the idea that I need to get it on my own. I need to look for it, the original reishi mushroom, the actual one, which is growing on the woods in the nature. And with that, I want to create my own immortality tea of immortality. This is the mushroom which is called the mushroom of immortality. So it's not that I want to become an immortal or something like that. That would be too funny. But there are too many health benefits of this reishi mushroom, especially because it gives a lot to the gut. And the information that it gives to the gut makes a person very positive, and it takes them in very high frequency. And regular consumption of this mushroom is supposed to be really, really helpful in curing many people who have depression or anxiety or these type of problems. Now, since I don't have any depression or anxiety, but I was like very much interested because I read in some of the scriptures, in some of the books, when I study ancient medicine, Ayurveda, I found out that a lot of sages, lot of hermits and lot of yogis are people who do meditation every day, yog. So yogis used to drink this tea of immortality regularly. And I felt that, its inner and outer is the same. And so I sort of made a prayer, made a request to my guide that why don't you, give me hand over some reishi mushroom to me. And I don't know why I did that, because I really thought that it's impossible for them to actually give me the reishi mushroom in a place where I live, because it grows in the forest, it grows in the woods. How is it possible that I will find it, in where I live? But since I also see that I live around a lot of greenery, I don't know, I just figured it out that something would happen, and I totally forgot about it. So one fine day I had gone to feed my street dogs, And some of them live in very green area where there are a lot of peacocks and there are a lot of other dogs. In one place only there are about 12, 13 odd dogs in just one patch of land, and it's a nice place, very nice green place, and it is situated right next to a small nursery, which is also like a small forest, you can say, with many trees and many birds and many peacocks live over there. And obviously in the monsoon it becomes very beautiful because monsoons are so beautiful. So I was just, I had gone to feed them and I saw this tree, one block of tree, and it's not even like a growing tree. It's not like a living tree. It's a small log of wood which was in one side, and I saw so many reishi mushrooms growing from it. And that was my moment of awe and wonder, because this is what I had asked for from the universe, and it was right there. And they were in good number. So I picked them up, and first day I only picked up the big ones because I thought that, let them grow. It's okay. I don't want to pluck all of it. But the next day when I went later on, the dogs were playing over there, and I think in the fight or something, they had already removed it. So I picked it all up, and surprisingly, I found a lot of reishi mushroom. It's not like day one I found one chunk, then I was taking a walk, I saw some more, then I took one more walk to a little bit more interior into that space, into that place where there were a lot of trees, and I just kept finding it. And then after 3-4 days, I found a huge chunk, really huge chunk of reishi mushroom. So this was like, okay, I made a prayer to the universe and it actually came true, because this is a very good food item to include in your daily consumption. And I could feel, because I used to normally have a lot of pain during my menstrual cycles, and I know a lot of divine feminines go through because of all the trauma that they have gone through in childhood, and there is this sort of a negative energy which had made them feel bad for being a woman. It could be because of sexual abuse, sexual molestation, or just bullying in the house for being a girl and not being a male child, so on and so forth. So that trauma creates a lot of pain in the menstrual cycles. And if you're a man listening to this channeling, then you should also be aware about these things, because these are natural things, and the divine masculines should also be very aware about these things, because women deserve to get some rest during these days if they are going through stress. But ever since I started taking reishi mushrooms, and there is one more herb that I've been consuming, it's called giloy. It's like it abundantly grows in India. You can find it like literally anywhere. If you pluck the leaves of giloy and you take the stem of giloy, you crush it and you boil it in water and you drink that water every morning, it's really good for the gut. But reishi mushroom is just many steps ahead of all these things, because it has so much power. It doesn't go bad. Like, you can boil the same chunk of reishi mushroom 3 times, 4 times, and it's good. And even the water, it doesn't go bad. Like, I left the water in hot summer day outside and I totally forgot about it. If it would have been some other tea, it would have become stale and would have rotten actually. But this, after 2 days also, it smells as good as how it smells when you boil it. So these are the things that made me realize that yes. And then obviously after consuming it, my health improved a lot, my mood improved a lot. You become very present when you consume this tea of immortality. And now I kind of get it why they call it tea of immortality, because it really makes you feel so present and so connected with your own self, that kind of positivity is amazing. And it's not that negative situations won't happen at all or something bad won't happen at all, because good and bad is just a perception. Everything is literally the same. So number one, this. Now, why am I talking about this and how is it connected to addictions at the DM side? Because the DM's biggest problem, biggest challenge area is the addictions. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be sex, it could be dependency, because all addictions create and spring out from dependency. Anybody who has a problem with dependency, if they cannot handle their own problems, they always have to go to mommy for help. They always have to go to someone in the house, and then they cannot do this with the feminine again and again. And the way they have been raised, it's not to condescend anyone, because this is a very normal thing that is seen in this journey at least. that all of these divine masculines, because they cannot get a hold and they cannot really solve their problems easily, it's best thing for them to do is to escape. And escapism is best when you do gambling or you do drinking or you do changing partners, because every time there's a new partner there is some new excitement, so they like that new excitement. But with the time they have realized that this is just a loop, it's a never ending loop. And this change also happens because the divine feminine becomes very specific and very particular about what she eats. She is also giving up on her side of addictions to drama, addictions to stress, addiction to not eating good. Because you remember, I have said that divine feminine always keeps herself below others, or she would not take care of herself so much. She would not, she would put her feelings in the back burner and she would put other people on the pedestal. She's a people pleaser. So most people who are people pleaser, they also don't take care of their food habits. They fast too much fasting because they're not eating on time. They don't make these things important. But as and when they go higher and higher in the journey, as and when they advance more and more in the journey, they become very conscious about the food eating habits. They become very conscious about what's going inside their body. They also start eating healthy and they also start drinking a lot of water. They have very fit bodies, they have very active lifestyles, because the mission work gives you a lot of positivity. When you do mission work, it makes you a very stable person, very grateful person. You derive happiness from so many things, so automatically it starts reflecting in your mood. It's a mood lifter. Reishi mushroom is definitely a mood lifter. Now, when I was in Pokhara, at that time I had many mystical experiences, and those mystical experiences actually got kick-started because I found some magic mushrooms in the woods. And these magic mushrooms, I'm always against chemical powders. I always tell people to stay away from them. But I also support herbs, and I also support anything that grows from the soil and anything that you pluck from the soil or from the trees and you wash it and you eat it raw. So when I ate those magic mushrooms raw, and I also shared one vlog on my channel, and it got a lot of people watched it actually, and a lot of people shared their views on it. When I consumed it, it actually acted like a gateway, like a portal. And it's not addictive because after that experience, I never really felt like consuming it. It's just like it's divine timing when you have to know so much. Because during that experience, I actually ate those mushrooms with a girl who was an astrodynamic scientist. So in her experience, what she explained to me after the trip got over, that she saw a lot of chemical particles, she saw a lot of atoms and how the atoms are connected to everything that we do. And it was like, wow, that's literally a science expedition. And what I saw was the complete coordination of trees and plants and the sun and the moon and the clouds and the earth, because those were the questions that I had in my mind back then. It was a very esoteric experience, very profound experience. It was very empowering and it was very enlightening. And obviously the visual I saw, the visions I saw, I don't think I could have seen it in the best of the best of the best of the best science fictions also. It was something I had never even imagined. And this happened with me at least 2-3 times. I saw sacred geometry patterns everywhere, on our skin, in the nature, in the rivers, and I was living at lakeside at that time. I was in a perfect place to experience all of this. So I definitely know it was divine timing and it happened automatically. So what I'm trying to say is that whole experience also added an element in my thinking that I must, be very clear about what I eat. Because before this magic mushroom experience happened with me, it's actually called psilocybe cubensis. That's the scientific name for it. When this experience happened, at least for 3 to 4 months, I was on a detox mode, which means I was eating very simple food, very basic food, very fresh food, and very raw food. I was living in the mountain area. I was living next to the lake. So every day I was going to swim in the lake, morning and evening. Though I had got tanned a lot, but I was loving that color, skin color, because I was spending a lot of time in the sun. And I was also doing sun meditation, that is sun gazing. So every morning and evening I used to just gaze the sun for 1 hour, 2 hours. And during my experience, when I had consumed magic mushroom, I kept kept sun gazing, and that took my experience to, I don't know which level, even I don't even know now. So but that opened up a lot of information for me, and I got immense good amount of download about how the plant kingdom works, how the humans work, how we work. Everything became very step by step crystal clear to me. So you should always consume a lot of herbs. Now, I had shared a post about Vedic Vedas, and someone had written some comments to me that, you are bullshitting. This was not the language, but this is the tone, that you are bullshitting, you are writing half-baked poetries. I think that some people are very mean because they get very triggered by some true information, and this person was hell-bent on telling me that your information is based on falsehood. Now let me tell you certain things so that everyone gets a clarity over here. It doesn't really matter who says what, but in the end, the correct research matters, because your body knows everything. If you put good things in your body will respond. If you put bad things in your body, then too your body will respond. So all of the drugs that I talk about, these are the chemical drugs, these are the powder drugs, and sugar is also a drug, by the way. So if you look at sugarcane, so someone told me that cocaine comes from a plant, opium comes from a plant, and so does cannabis is also a plant. Now let me make you understand the difference between cannabis consumption, and let me tell you the difference between cocaine, sugar, and opium consumption, and also nicotine is included in this. And if you ever get time to watch Louise L. Hay's documentaries or listen to her audios, even she has spoken about tobacco very clearly, because I think she used to smoke tobacco, so she has spoken about it. Now we need to understand basic things about food. Anything which is processed and made in factories and turned into powders, that is a chemical. You can take a cocoa plant and you can make many things out of it. You can make chocolate also out of it. And at the same time, you can make cocaine out of it. These are two very different things. These are opposite things. Now, from the sugarcane, the raw form of sugarcane is sugarcane juice, or you can simply try to chew, and it's very sweet and it's very juicy and it's very good for health, right? Now, when you consume it in natural form, it's called jaggery. It's brown in color, and this is created by hand. It's handmade. So they collect the sugarcane and then they boil it up, and then they dry it up, and then they make cakes out of it, and that is called jaggery, and that is a natural product, and that is good for health. It's very good for health. Jaggery is very good for health, and if possible, we should replace sugar with jaggery. But when they make sugar, they actually take all of this to the factory. And now, if you see the corporations, they keep trying to sell sugar, and one of the biggest buyers for sugar is children, not even adults, because you have to see the number of children and the amount of sugar they eat every day. They eat a lot of sugar. It's sold in very attractive packaging, in form of candy, in form of cakes, in form of pastries, in form of so many of these things. Now, I'm not saying that we should leave everything and we should sit in one corner and stop eating. But my point is that we should replace them with alternatives, or we should reduce the amount. We should not consume it so much, or we should mix it with natural food and real food. Like, for example, you should eat a lot of curd in your food. Curd is very good for stomach and for gut. And you should drink a lot of water. You should have a lot of leafy vegetables. And most importantly, you should try to cook everyday fresh food. You should not keep storing food in the refrigerator or the fridge and consuming it, taking it out and heating it up. This is the process of, eating stale food, and that's why the fridges sometimes I feel is not a good thing, because what people do is they keep buying stuff and they keep storing it in the fridge, and it stays inside the fridge for a much longer period of time, even though there is refrigeration and all that, but it's all artificially done. It's not real. And the longer period of time that you give to stale food and you consume it with that much time duration, that much harm it is going to do to you. And I know that cooking food for some people is a lengthy process, it's a long process, but if you enjoy it, if you love it, every meal would be savored by you, and every meal that is cooked with love, it will also have the energy of love, just like the experiment on water. You should charge your food also, like charge your food with prayer. Before eating, if you make a prayer, So it can be a plant. Now, in case of cannabis, what has happened with the corporation is that they could not convert it into powdered format. They simply could not. Because if you study about the source of cannabis, it actually came into being from Samudra Manthan. Now, these are the words that you might not understand right now, but when you Google it, Samudra Manthan, SAMU, Samudra, DRA, Samudra Manthan, MANTHAN. The Indians would understand it automatically. If you are a Hindi speaking person, you would understand it. Globally, you can just type this and you would know that this was when there was a war between the gods and the Asur. So Devta and Asur. Devtas are the Nirvanas, the benevolent ETs, and Asurs are the reptilian ETs, the Rakshasas basically, the negative entities. So there was a big fight between them once, and they were churning from a big mountain. Okay, they were churning a big mountain in the middle of the ocean. So when they were doing this churning process, first a lot of poison and a lot of dark things came out, and then came out Amrit. Amrit is basically elixir of life. It's elixir is the right word for it, I think. In the dictionary, you can see meanings like honeydew or nectar, but this is a very it can give you potency, it can give you immortality, it has many benefits. So it can give you many powers. So from that drop of nectar, that Amrit, one drop that fell on planet Earth, because they were fighting over it. It was in a golden pot or some kind of a metal pot. So when they were pulling it towards one another, in that push and pull, some drops fell down on planet Earth, and from those drops, the plant of cannabis had emerged. This is a story from the Puranas. Now, in the Vedas, especially in the Ayurveda, and there are other scriptures also, it has been referred as the king of all herbs. And I have always supported cannabis, and I will, because from my own experience, I have recommended CBD oil to many people, and they have always found a lot of relief from that. So, even people who have not made it, during cancer treatment, one of my acquaintance or a friend, you can say, told me that his mother was in very severe stages of cancer. But she was in a lot of pain, and to ease out that pain and to put her to sleep, like make her sleep, make her relax, he used to give her cannabis oil, CBD oil, and that actually used to help her a lot. She could sleep, she would eat, she would be slightly better. She would be much more better than what another person who's getting chemotherapy would be. Now, a lot of it depends, a lot of this healing therapy depends on who is your coach, who is your healer, and what are their beliefs. Are they spiritualistic in beliefs, or they are materialistic in their belief system? Spiritual people are different, completely opposite of materialistic people. So in the plant format, both the things that are sold in market as weed or hash, both are in raw format because there is no processing done. Hash is also made by hands, and weed is any which way in a leaf format. But why is cocaine dangerous? Why is sugar dangerous? Why is nicotine dangerous? Why are these things so dangerous? It's because they get processed in a factory. And from a plant, they are turned into a powder. And from a plant, they are turned into a chemical. And one of the most dangerous drugs on planet Earth right now is alcohol. It is the most dangerous drug, alcohol and nicotine. So Louise L. Hay also speaks about tobacco consumption, and she says, she has said this in her audios, which I have also heard, that tobacco, if you buy tobacco from the market, which is pure tobacco, good tobacco, not processed tobacco, then it's fine. It's not dangerous. It's not harmful for health. Once in a while, you can smoke some good tobacco. But I don't smoke tobacco. I don't smoke cigarettes. But I'm still saying this because I don't judge people. I don't judge people for what they do. Okay, but there are a lot of people who say that they are in the ascension journey, but they judge others and they condescend others without having complete information. So the point is that you as a person in the twin flame journey or in the ascension journey, in a spiritualistic belief, in a spiritualistic lifestyle, you have to, you must know why are we making this demarcation. This is where divine feminine needs to put her logical, analytical mind. So all of these things that are sold in the market, they all have heavy taxes on them, and the money goes to the corporations. So the corporations definitely don't want people to go after herbal things that they can grow, because they cannot make taxes on these things, and these things are not addictive. So you're not going to die if you don't smoke some weed one day. You're not going to die if you don't eat magic mushrooms, or you're not going to die if you don't do ayahuasca trips. again and again, because these are very they bring out a lot of dirt also from you. But people who don't get cocaine, people who don't get crystal meth, people who don't get to have sugar, some people cannot survive without eating sweet things. They eat sugar, sweet stuff all day long. So many children do that. So many people cannot survive without nicotine. They are chain smokers. They keep smoking. You ask them, why are you smoking so many cigarettes? They don't know why. They are just so addicted to it, because these corporations, these factories, when they make anything, they put dangerous addictive elements in them. Even in processed food, there is addictive element. Even in your burgers, even in your fries, all of these things, because they're all made in factories and they're stored. Imagine there was one research done on French fries, that some people kept the French fries as it is in a drawer and left it for months. When they came back and they checked on it, they were still the same. There was no change in the color or in the appearance. They were still the same. You could still eat them. Obviously, the taste would not be so good, but they looked the same. But if you take a regular potato, you cut it and you make French fries out of it, that is not going to be the result. It will go bad in some days, it will rot in some days. But these processed French fries didn't rot. So these are the things you should do. If you love eating certain things like a pizza, it's all right. You can do that. Once in a while, it's okay. But if you're eating a pizza every day, or if you're eating a burger every day, if you're eating junk food every day, if you're eating processed food every day, 3 times in a day, if you're drinking cola. Now, cola is one of the worst things. Soda is one of the worst things, because they put a lot of fluoride in it. This fluoride calcifies your third eye. Your intuition power is gone after that. And I see little children, they cannot eat their lunch, dinner without cold drinks, without the aerated drinks, without these fake drinks which are full of sugar and full of fluoride. And it is so dangerous. It's literally dumbing down so many children. So please be careful about these things. In the union, in the ascension journey, you don't have to blame the divine masculine alone for being addicted to drugs or being addicted to alcohol or cigarette or something like that. You have to see that they are also mirroring some of your addictive patterns. You are also addicted to something and they are just copying that. So change your diet, change your food, put more raw stuff into it. If you find reishi mushroom, it will be great. Mushrooms are amazing for health, but obviously if you don't know how to differentiate, you might pick up some poisonous ones also. So don't do that. Do your full research and full study, and only then consume anything. Without research, don't just because I am saying it in an audio, don't go by everything I say to. Do your own research and understand that anything which comes in a powder format or in the pill format, it will never be good. Never ever be good. And it will give you big addiction problem. Now, I told you guys that I will tell you the story about Buddha, but I am postponing it to the part 3 because I want you guys first to know about all of these things. And now in the next part, I will tell you what did Buddha talk about when he spoke about eating meat, how, why, when one should eat meat, and how should you eat food, what should be your eating habits, what is the eating habit for a monk, what is the eating habit for a householder, what is the eating habit for karma yoga. And you guys are householders and you are in karma yoga, so obviously you should be eating accordingly. And I will catch you in the part 3 of this series. And one love and peace out.